Alright, so where's the line between being prudent and being kiamsiap? Hello and welcome back to Don't Be A Dodo, where we discuss all things from cancer fears like losing a testicle to investing as a YP without being punked. I'm Keith.
And I'm Emmanuel. If you guys remember in our last episode, we talked about the Singlife Financial Freedom Index. Where,
FFI.
Yeah, that's right, the FFI, where we talked about what financial freedom looks like to different Singaporeans, and we agreed that, at the end of the day, financial freedom looks different for everyone. But one thing that a lot of people can agree on, the number one indicator was that everyone wants to retire at some point.
Yeah.
Right? What was your vision of retirement, bro?
I don't wanna work forever for my whole life. Yeah, so I just wanna kick back and relax. I think you share the same vision also, right?
Yeah, with my farm, trimming my bonsai, right?
Yeah. So I think with that said, our next special guest, is someone who's already very, very much financially independent, and I think he can afford to retire early.
Hello everyone, I'm Zi Shin. Keith, actually I'm not looking to retire too early.
Yeah, but I found out that, we were chatting earlier, actually you actually ticked off a lot of life goals already, right? You paid off your car loan, your house loan almost there also, right?
Okay lah, my car loan is fully paid, but then house loan where got almost there. House loan only 50%. Still got another 50% more to go, bro.
But you need to remind our listeners and viewers, right? Like, how old are you this year?
Okay, I'm actually 26 this year.
26. Yeah, dude. Modest fella. yeah, but that's exactly why we have you here today, because today's topic is literally on FIRE. Literally. So for those who don't know, FIRE means financially independent, retire early. Basically, it's a movement where people do like extreme savings so they retire early. Yeah.
I think that's why Singapore got so many millionaires, right? Everyone hopping on this FIRE movement and everything.
Confirm lah. I don't know if that's something that's doable or not, to be honest. What's your thoughts on it?
To be honest, I think FIRE itself, it really differs a lot for different kind of people. So basically, sometimes, when we think about FIRE, we think about we have to, scream and save just to achieve the kind of lifestyle that people have, right? So sometimes we look at, like luxury cars, luxury houses, right? So we kind of set a kind of too high expectation for ourselves sometimes. So I would say it is doable for FIRE, but it's just finding out what's your end goal at the end of the day, right? What's the kind of life that you want to lead at the end of the day. Is it truly the kind of luxury lifestyle that you usually see? Or is it something else, right? Maybe some of you guys, maybe he wants to do his bonsai plant. Maybe you don't need that much, right?
So.
Or maybe you just want to lepak. Maybe that wouldn't cost as much as well.
Yeah,
right?
I only pay money but yeah.
Yeah. So the different people have different levels, I would say, for their FIRE.
I see. So do you have to eat bread and water?
To be honest, I wouldn't say so lah.
Really?
Yeah, but of course, sometimes, when we see people, they actually have, they purchase Starbucks every single day, right? Maybe they even have like luxury meals, like sometimes in restaurants, they have it like every single day.
Now.
Yeah. So I think such things can be cut down, right? I wouldn't say that you can't have it, but maybe have it less frequently. Yeah, less frequently.
Because traditionally FIRE, right? Like I understand that you save up to 70% of your annual income, and then like Keith said, you really eat like bread and water and stuff like that. So you only spend 3 to 4%.
I would say if you want to work towards something, right? Then there's two aspects to it, right? One, you can either save up more, right? Or number two, you can actually increase your income itself. Yeah. So I think that those are two options for you, right? It's just see which one you think is more doable lah, in a sense.
Really depends on like how you calibrate your lifestyle. And all this kind of stuff. Like, if you're at a club every Wednesday, Friday and Saturday, you're spending big amounts, you open bottle here and there. Then a person complains like, hey, actually I cannot save money. A bit like, obviously, right?
Yeah, I would say so because, at the end of the day, it is important to understand where your ratios are coming from, right? Today when your income comes in, right, try to allocate accordingly to what you really need, I would say, right? Luxuries or maybe even like entertainment expenses. I believe all those are still necessities, right? I wouldn't say that, you don't need entertainment in your life.
Right?
I would say the more important things is to figure out, are they spending on unnecessary things sometimes? They actually want to get like iPhone 15. I mean, nowadays iPhone 15, right? I mean, in the past, I've seen them wanting to get like iPhone 13 and all. But if you know that your situation isn't allowing you to do that, maybe you can scale back a bit, right? Wait for your situation to improve. Then that's where you can actually purchase that particular product that you have been always wanting for.
It's very tricky now, especially I feel like, because now there's things like the whole buy now pay later programs, which also make it seem like these things are more affordable than they seem, right? And then so you tend to splurge more. Like, so you can buy all these smaller things because you're paying installments, man, right? But then at the end of the day, you're saying that it still adds up to a lot.
Right. So that's the reason why I think calculating your expense ratio itself is definitely very important, because at least you know that within the particular month, how much can you really spend without sacrificing your short-term goals or even your long-term goals to begin with.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so you keep mentioning this ratio thing, right? Can you break it down for us? Like, what goes into like this whole ratio calculation?
Okay, so how I usually calculate this ratio for myself and also for my clients, basically the first one is actually understanding your income first, right? Then subsequently you will get your expenses out, right? So that will be your expense ratio. So within these expenses, I think a lot of people, they say like, oh, it's just, eating and traveling. But I think that it's much more than that. You can also include things like your yearly travels, right? Or maybe your weekly entertainment fund, with your friends, things like that, right?
Okay.
So this expense should be something that you require on a monthly basis.
Alright.
Right. Without this, you're practically dead, right?
Yeah.
So the third one is actually your insurance premium ratios, right? Because today, eventually, as much as this is a topic that people think that is very boring sometimes, but ultimately when we save our money, what is it for? It's to, get a better life, higher standard of living, higher quality of life.
Yep.
But if you were to save all this money just to pay our medical bills, I
Bit
think
sian
that's-
lah.
yeah. So that's your insurance premium ratios. The fourth one is your short-term goal ratios, right? Understand what is coming up soon. Those are your priorities, right? And then lastly, you get your investable ratio, and that's where you can work it with your FIRE.
Oh, okay. So FIRE is another investment. So like short-term goals will be things like, I guess, like if you have like a wedding coming up, or
Right.
are you going to pay like down payment for your house or ID, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, I think mainly it's for like people around our age right nowadays. They're graduating from universities,
Yeah.
right? They actually look at I'm going to get a BTO, right?
Right.
So those are coming up in like a few years. Some of them they even got it before they graduated.
Oh, yeah,
right.
yeah.
So you're looking at like 3 years, 2 years, yeah, and then you will need to
Okay.
come up with the next sum of money, which is your renovation. Yeah. So that's definitely crucial to save up for lah.
But Zi Shin, do you have any like interesting success stories to share?
He's actually a referral. He came to me and then he sought to actually understand his position lah, because he himself he had this like very high confidence that he's going to be able to do well in life, right? The reason is because when we graduate in from uni itself, we usually get like a rough 3,500 to 4,000 salary, right? But his first pay was actually 4,800.
Wow, very good.
Yeah, so that
very
was
good.
actually way higher than his other peers itself lah.
Yeah.
So I think for that wise, he actually felt like, hey, since I'm earning more than others, right, then I can afford a better life lah, right? A richer life, I would say. Yeah. So he actually went through this whole thing, and then he started spending, splurging, and then after a year, he came back and looked at his bank. He's like, hey, how come my bank never increased? Like it's still flatline. Yeah, that's when he actually met me. Then we actually went through his ratios. Then we realized that like, as much as he always think that it's just it's not a harmful grab lah. Sometimes raining, you just want like to grab home, but raining the high demand is crazy lah, right? Sometimes from a CBD you get like $40 over. I think that's common.
Yeah, same.
But to him it's more of like I can
Why not?
please myself for a night.
yourself.
Yeah. Please myself for a night. Then after that, okay lah. But this became frequent because you enjoy the convenience of having someone to chauffeur you around. Then he started to grab more. And sometimes he comes to work. He instead of going to buy like maybe carrot cake, he go and buy like baguette lah.
Fancy, this guy.
Yeah. So he thought that all these things are affordable to him. Why not? Right? But then when we look at the whole ratio, we realize that actually your needs it's not even that high. It's just that you like to eat expensive food. You like to splurge on like entertainment, and splurge on like Grab fares, that kind of thing. Yeah, so we tried out this whole new calculation, and then we helped him to scale back a little lah. Yeah, actually not a little, quite a fair bit lah. We scale back quite a fair bit, and then the past 3 to 3.5 months lah, he actually has seen results in his bank actually going up.
Alright.
Yeah. So that was actually some progression that I see lah.
What was the initial sum that he started saving? Because you said like you had to cut back quite a lot, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So how much did you start him off? Like slow, or immediately like you cut like 70% straight to savings, that kind of thing?
So actually we cut back his expenses by about 40%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not still.
So because his salary is higher than his peers, so he actually has a larger sum of money to work with. So cutting back 40% was actually quite a substantial amount. And then with that being said, he was able to actually work out some finances for himself lah. Yeah. So we actually help him to place some funds for his short-term ratios, right? And also some funds for his investments for his FIRE. Yeah. So FIRE, I think many times, we think that, we got to start like 70% cut off, right? But actually it's the little things that count. Yeah.
So baby steps.
Definitely.
So how many months of emergency funds do you think everyone should set aside?
Okay, so for emergency funds, I think with the current economy itself, right, it's a bit volatile, I would say. So I think a good maybe 6 months will be healthy, right? So with that being said, it's supposed to tie you through, right?
Yeah.
Because after all, in Singapore, the hardest part is if you don't die, right?
Exactly. Still gotta
you
pay
still
your
gotta-
bills, still gotta eat, right? Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, your utilities and then your food, things like that.
exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like a good trigger to reflect on like what's important to us. What do you want to spend your money on, and then you just basically just leverage on what works for you, lor. Like if you like to spend on shoes, for example, that's okay lah. But you buy in moderation, right? Then maybe you spend less on something else that maybe you don't need, but you still continue to like live your lifestyle. Like do not
Right.
like sacrifice too much just for that goal that just for that destination that you wanna get to.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think everyone's goals are different. To be honest, even if you don't save like X amount of dollars a month, so what, right? Like the police not gonna knock on your door and arrest you or anything like that, what? Right? So it's not a crime, So
Yeah.
you just have to make like the best decisions for yourself, Kennedy. You just like take it one step at a time, and then just so just live your life, That's my take, lah.
Yep. Right. So similar to FIRE, it's basically just a form of way to say that you have financial freedom, right? So figure out how much you require to have financial freedom, right? Then from there, it's like an aircon remote, right? Tune it accordingly, right? Tune it and then see like how much you can achieve it at the end of the day. I think it's more important about the mindset to actually want to change, because ultimately nowadays, when we were to look up the internet and all, answers are everywhere, lah.
Yeah.
Right. It's just whether or not we are willing to take it in, relearn ourselves again, and then apply it to our life. Yeah.
So true.
Yeah, I think that's good. That's good advice.
Yeah.
Do you have to earn a lot? Like, let's say be a CEO, high level manager, those high ranking like corporate ladder kind of stuff to be rich someday.
Okay, for that, right, I wouldn't think so, to be honest. Because I'm not sure if you guys heard of this term called Henry, right?
No.
No,
What's a Henry?
Okay,
man?
so Henry, the
player.
name, right? Yeah, so Henry itself, right? High earners, not rich yet.
Oh.
Yeah. So this term itself is quite popular in Singapore as well, because if you look at Singapore itself, the index, we are actually one of the countries that have a lot of millionaires, right?
Yep.
Right, we are all high earners, right? So with that being said, you think that all these kind of high earners, wow, they're living the life, they are driving the fancy Porsche, they're living in the nicest condominium that you've seen and all, right? But to be honest, if you were to look back in COVID times, right? Why did this term actually came about? Is because when COVID hit and they actually lost their jobs, or they actually got salary cut because people are not going back to office anymore, right? That's when they actually suffer the most. Why? It's because when they take up so much income, they actually spend it all away as well. And that's why you see those kind of fanciful things that they have purchased. And once they lose their job, because they never save enough or that they never set aside some money accordingly, they actually are unable to finance all these remaining properties, cars, right? Yeah. So those are the kind of people which we call Henrys, lah. So I wouldn't say that you need to earn a lot of money per se to be rich, but it's more of allocating it properly based on the current salary that you have, right? Because ultimately, if let's say you're earning a $3,000 a month, you can't be telling me that okay, I want to retire with a 20K per month kind of salary, like how the CEOs are doing it, right? Yeah. Sometimes we just have to step back a little bit, be a little bit more realistic, understand a bit. I'm not saying that you can't. Maybe one day you really do very well in a career and you can have a 20K per month salary. Maybe by then we can actually rework itself. But as of now, I think it's important to actually tune it accordingly to what you really want. Because it doesn't take too much to actually compound the interest itself and then have a good sum of money at the end of the day.
It's all about planning well, man. You gotta finesse those ratios.
Yeah, it's really about those ratios and understanding your end goal per se. Yeah.
Okay, so I settled all the ratios already. I've saved this giant pool of money. What's next?
Share with me.
Okay, definitely. I think for it to begin, right? So you need to understand the basics itself. The first thing is actually your inflation, lah. Yeah, I think that's the first thing first that you must go and read up about. Ultimately, many people they think like, okay lah, actually 4% or or 3% inflation, it's not going to hurt me that much, right? Yeah. So I think how more people can actually relate to this is that if let's say today we were to put just a normal meal into perspective, right? So let's say we take a normal one like chicken rice.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys eat chicken rice, right?
Yeah.
So in the past, before COVID, I'm pretty sure everywhere that we go about, we can see $3 chicken rice. That's a very, very normal thing.
Standard.
Right?
Yeah.
Our price actually went up. Right? So what's the average one that we find nowadays? $4.50. $4.50, $4 around there, right?
At 80 cents.
At 80 cents. Right? So let's put into perspective, right? Nowadays, when we think about it, $4.50, it's just a $1.50 ma. It's not like, life-threatening, not like I'm going to die from this, right?
Yeah.
But if you were to really think about it, how much did it really cost you, right? 150 jump, that is a 50% jump in food prices. Yeah. So the question is, right? Did your salary jump by 50%?
No.
Yeah, but you still gotta eat, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I think this is something that people, usually like they feel like, it's just a few cents. What's gonna hurt?
Yeah.
Right? But actually if you put it into percentages wise, you realize that, oh dear, I'm screwed. I gotta make my money work harder for me some way. Right? That's where you actually understand your risk, your risk level, right? Go and talk to an FAR, right? Get a better understanding of your own risk level, and then from there you configure something that suits your own portfolio.
Right.
Right? At least you beat the inflation lah.
Right. Make your money work harder for you, right? So it's not just being devalued in the bank and stuff like that by inflation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I have another question for you. Right? What if I don't want to save? Right? I just live day by day. I want to spend all my money because I think like I'm going to die tomorrow. Save also like, so what?
So if let's say today I were to, pass on, then I'm also not going to take the money with me, right? If you don't die, then what happens to the future of yourself, right? Yeah. So I think my main question for them would be to think, what if we were to continue living on? Like just what we mentioned, right? If let's say your prices are already increasing at like 50% for food itself, and you're still spending like this manner, then in the future, what's going to happen to you when you have no more income? I mean, that's the truth, right? Because one day we're going to be old, you are no longer going to generate sufficient income for yourself.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where we have this time to actually generate as much cash as we can, make it work as hard as it can, and then from there we can have a good life thereafter.
Oh, not bad.
After all, like what I mentioned earlier also is that, I'm not asking you to take away all your luxuries. I'm not saying that you can't enjoy your life. I'm not saying that you can't live a life. That's right. I'm not saying that you can't live a life, right? Yeah, but basically just cut back baby steps, lor. Yeah, from there, then you can actually work out something.
So just saying, I do have like a bonus question for you. This one is it's gonna be a bit spicy. I'm not gonna lie, but I just want to get your genuine reaction from
Okay.
you. Okay. So, why do some people hate FARs?
To be honest, I wouldn't say so lah. Yeah, in the past, when you say you want to be a FAR, you can actually just sign up to be one, right? But if you were to look back in the current spectrum now, a lot of rules and regulations has been imposed by MAS itself, right? All the financial institutions, they are upping their game, right? You have to take up, certifications to become an FAR, right? Most of them are like university graduates, right? Some are even in their masters, right? So the kind of industry is actually tweaked, I would say, right? It actually became like people who studied, who really understood finance, they really come into the industry and really want to make a difference for people. Right, individuals, like yourselves, and even yourselves, you want to, listen to them, take their advice, and then do something better for yourself, lah.
Yeah, that's good to know. Honestly, it's like if I had someone like you in my life, like a few years ago, right, I probably wouldn't have basically my story.
Losing 19K at 21?
Yeah, bro. Like, I lost 19K at 21. Never approached any FARs because I always thought it was a scam. No, I'm also not gonna lie about that. Used to think that these people, they just want to sell you a plan, then earn like passive income for the rest of their life, that kind of thing. It's a scam and all that lah. So I didn't approach any FARs back then.
Right.
I do now lah, but wish I had it earlier back then. If you haven't read about that tragedy, you can read it on our Singlife blog, Life Stuff. Okay, so Zi Shin, what are like 3 actionable tips that you would give to anyone that you like? Let's say anyone on the street that you would give that they can use straight away, lah.
Okay, I think this is also something that I do for myself initially, right? So the 3 actionable tips I would say is first one, to track your own expenses, right? Because ultimately, I think you've heard some of the stories that I mentioned earlier as well. Most of them, they basically don't track their expenses. Ultimately, most Singaporeans, when they come back to the bank, how come my bank never increased, right? Because, you haven't tracked exactly where all this money are actually flowing to.
Yep.
Right, so I think those actually are crucial to actually manage properly. right? Then subsequently, the next one will be actually to build a savings habit, right? Every month, sometimes for myself, when I was, in uni year one, when I first started this career, I would take a part of my salary every single month. I'll just put into another bank. Then that bank, I'll cut away my card one. Yeah, so there'll
So
be
you
no.
cannot see the balance, right?
No, not say I cannot see the balance. There'll be no ATM card for me to withdraw.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so I'll just forcefully save it down there.
Extreme.
Right? And then with that bank account, I will use it to actually allocate out to the different kind of asset classes that I want to go into.
You cut away the card.
Yeah. So you cannot withdraw, bro.
Yeah, so you can't withdraw the money. Yeah. Yeah, so that's one method I actually did for myself. But
Okay.
of course, subsequently, when you have the habit itself, then you wouldn't need it anymore, right? Even if you have the card, you'll just be like, oh, okay. But that's just my other bank that I use it for other purposes. Yeah. So the last one actually is quite crucial, is that I personally feel you shouldn't be incurring too much debt. Yeah. Because most people, when they get a car, then nowadays, the young our generation people, right, they have been like taking car at loans at like 80% loan, 90% loan, right? Basically an overloan, right? So
Insane.
I know it's a nice thing to have a car and all, but read up on what is an effective interest rate. That is your true interest rate that you're paying for your car. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good tip, man.
Yeah, those are the 3 tips that I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to wrap it all up, what I understand from you, and thanks for sharing also, is that a lot of this is like, it goes down to your lifestyle decision.
Right.
How you slowly understand yourself a bit more, what do you spend on, make small little changes, baby steps towards your lifestyle decisions, stuff like that, right?
Right.
I think consistency is key, lah. You don't have to, give up everything like in the full-on fire, right? I think you decide how much you want to save and how much you want to spend on. So we just need to create a plan and then stick with it, lor. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, I saw this video about this. The world's cheapest millionaire. Okay, this is like fire to the whole other extreme. This lady, she's worth a few $1 million, I believe. Right. But what she does is she eats cat food regularly.
What the?
She eats cat food. Okay, but she's worth 5 million I don't think I can ever do that
Sending thoughts and prayers to that woman.
I can't do that either.
Yeah, it's like I give thoughts and prayers. I don't think I can ever do that. I don't think anyone should do that also. Yeah. Thank you so much to Sing. And all of you for joining us today on Don't Be A Dodo. As always, you can listen to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, or see our handsome faces on YouTube.
If you want to find out more about all the topics that we discuss here, you can head over to the Life Stuff blog or find out more at singlife.com. Till next time,
Don't be a dodo.